So good morning. Welcome back to Startup Week, right? So good to be in person this morning. I'm so excited. Yeah. I feel like it's been a really long time, and it kind of has been, but it's like almost 10 years sort of shoved into 2 years that we were apart. So glad to see everybody. I'm Chelsea Rossi, Chief of Staff at Denver Economic Development and Opportunity, or as we refer to, DEDO. And our Executive Director, Jen Morris, was actually supposed to be speaking here this morning, and she injured herself over the weekend, and I know that she would far rather be here with us today than where she is right now, but she does send her sincere apologies for not being able to make it. So we're so excited to be hosting this Global Visitors Welcome here today. I've heard, I think, at least 6 different languages in the room today, and that just kind of gives me goosebumps, just to know that people have traveled all over the world to be here, and some of you I know live here, but it's just such a cool feeling. A big thank you to Denver Startup Week's title sponsors, who we would not be here without: Amazon, Capital One Cafe, Dell for Startups, and of course our great partner, the Downtown Denver Partnership. So this Global Visitors Welcome is part of what's called the Spotlight Track. And so Denver Startup Week, if you didn't know, has several different tracks: founder, maker, different tracks that sort of put you into one direction or the other depending on what you'd like to learn and discover here at Startup Week. So this is a Spotlight Track session, and that's sponsored by Southwest Rapid Rewards Credit Card by Chase. And of course, like I said, there are 8 programming tracks that are like the Spotlight Track, and it's aimed at supporting the entire entrepreneurial ecosystem. So that's what the Spotlight Track is all about. So speaking of sponsors, I'd like to welcome Lynn Cresswell, Executive Director for Chase's Southwest Rapid Rewards Credit Card Program, and he's going to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Len Cresswell. I am representing the Chase and Southwest Rapid Rewards business cards. We are incredibly thrilled to be here for this event. We've been sponsors for a couple of years now. The whole team, including Southwest and Chase, is excited to welcome you to the Global Visitor Center welcome presented by the Spotlight Track. The Spotlight Track is, it aims to draw members together to really support the community, connect, and share ideas. We are thrilled to be sponsoring Denver Startup Week for another year and look forward to hearing from the wonderful lineup of speakers. Small businesses are a driving force of our economy, and you are so important to the ecosystem. And that's why we actually do design credit cards specifically for small businesses to meet your needs. So we are just super thrilled to be here. One call out: if you are planning on stopping at the opening party tonight, please make sure you stop by to one of the photo booths that we have there for a complimentary professional photo or headshot. We're excited to have that for you guys. And we really hope that you enjoyed this morning's session and all the Spotlight Track events this week. So thank you.
All right, so theme of the day is small business owners. And thanks, Lynn. Headshots, that sounds exciting. I'd also like to thank all the small business owners and entrepreneurs and those who support them in the room. That is why we are here today, and we're so thankful that you came to the 5th annual, if you can believe it, Global Visitors Welcome. You are the why behind this incredible event, and we are just so happy to be able to support you in being the true engine of our global economy. So every year, Denver Startup Week hosts thousands of people, like 20,000 sometimes, to come here and be with us in person. And we're really celebrating the flourishing economy here in Denver. There's a huge network that we build upon, and it really captivates the city's culture of innovation. So here again, we're so happy to be together in person. So our agency, DEDO, has a really simple message. Again, Denver Economic Development and Opportunity, which is an agency of the city and county of Denver here in Colorado. We want to create an economy that works for everyone, and that's rooted in the concept of equity. We have 5 divisions within DEDO that support this mission. We, of course, focus on that traditional economic development, so that's attracting businesses to Denver from throughout the U.S. and, of course, the world. But we also pair that with a robust workforce development system, and that's a little different than traditional eco-devo that you might see in other areas. We like to ensure that economic opportunity reaches all of our Denver residents through upskilling and reskilling, and not only doing that, but making sure those skills match the jobs that are in demand here in Denver. And what's extra cool is then we pair those in-demand jobs or skill sets that we've created with Denver employers to connect them to the talent that they need. One thing that's really unique about what we do at DDO is that we help businesses and residents remain in our neighborhoods. Neighborhoods are experiencing change across the entire world. That's what happens in cities, right? But we really care about how that happens, and we're very thoughtful about that displacement so that we can keep the culture and character and people in the neighborhoods where they belong. And finally, we're laser focused on ensuring that our small businesses and budding entrepreneurs have the opportunity to succeed in Denver. We want to make sure that as we rise out of this recession that we were just in because of the pandemic, that we all do that together and that opportunity is one. So a lot of that work is going to be on full display here during this week's programming at Denver Startup Week. Our team at DDO will be putting on sessions all throughout the week, so I hope you keep an eye out for that. So being a welcoming city to global businesses and entrepreneurs like yourselves is extremely important to us at DDO, and very important to our very globally minded mayor, Michael B. Hancock. Mayor Hancock, who you're going to hear from next, albeit digitally, is our #1 global advocate. When you talk to him, you can see it in him. He loves being an advocate for Denver on the global stage. He's been a driving force behind our global business development programs, which are designed for businesses from around the world exploring the U.S. market expansion via Denver. We're a great spot to land. Mayor Hancock formed our global business development team, who many of you probably know and I'm going to recognize here shortly, over 4 years ago as a division of DDO to focus on global initiatives and strengthen Denver's place as a key link in the global network. And this team has had some great success. In fact, during the pandemic, they were one of our major attraction arms. While everyone else was sort of scrambling to do what we could for local businesses, the global team was out still meeting with prospects and people interested in Denver. From recruiting international companies to Denver to success with its global landing pad. Anybody here from the global landing pad cohort? Yeah, there you are. All right. Yep. So you got to talk to these folks about Global Landing Pad and what it's doing for their businesses. Our team also works on city-to-city programs and continually hosting and showcasing Denver to multiple delegates who come from overseas to check Denver out. I'd like to give a special shout out to Stephanie, Vanessa, Ivana, Leslie Leone, and everybody who's, Dominic, there you are, everybody who has made this happen today and across the last several years. And the meaningful connections that we make through events like this one and our global landing pad truly make Denver globally minded and an innovative city where businesses thrive. And we're here to help you grow. I'm excited to share this message from Mayor Michael B. Hancock. And give me just a second with my technology skills here. I'll get it for you. The mayor is working remotely, and he's doing it really slowly. We can't get it to close out. Just trying to minimize it. Sorry. We had run through this before, and now it's frozen. Oh, there it is. Ta-da! You just had to walk up here. Here we go.
Honor to have you at our 5th annual Global Business Welcome at the beginning Denver Startup Week 2022. Once again, Denver has demonstrated its legendary resilience, bouncing back from challenging times. Growing and thriving, our eye on the horizon, Denver is a welcoming city that embraces people from all over the world. We have an exceptional reputation for an equitable and inclusive economy, spanning across our innovative startup ecosystem. Here in the Mile High City, you'll find the collaborative, business-friendly environment you're looking for with a myriad of resources available to help global companies succeed. Perhaps most importantly, you will meet our top-notch talent ready to work. Ours is a robust workforce among the top most educated in the nation. Today, we offer more than 185 nonstop flights, including 25 international direct flights. We're a community rich in history and culture, where we have a bold, can-do spirit, and your next adventure is always waiting to unfold. Global business development is a priority for Denver, and is growing and thriving here. I know our team will make you feel welcome as you tap into our wealth of entrepreneurial supports and discover for yourselves what makes Denver such an amazing place to do business. Along the way, you'll see why Denver is an exceptional place to live with its enviable balance of quality of life and a booming economy. Thanks for being here. We hope you enjoy Denver Startup Week.
All right, Mayor Hancock. So, on that note, I am now pleased to announce to you Mr. Alan Salazar, Mayor Hancock's Chief of Staff. Alan brings nearly 30 years of experience advancing public policy at the state, federal, and local levels. Sorry, that's cutting out a little bit. And has played a pivotal role in the success of Mayor Hancock's administration by serving the residents of Denver for nearly 6 years. Is that right? 6 years, yes. We can do math. Globally in tune as well, Alan has traveled internationally with Mayor Hancock to grow and strengthen our ties overseas and develop robust bilateral business opportunities for Denver investment. Alan understands the vision and value that these relationships bring to Denver and to our overall global economy, and we're lucky to have him in our corner. Alan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The mayor really does look forward to this particular event, so I want to explain why he's working remotely today, and I think you'll understand why he's not here. Last year, he and a number of other mayors hosted a forum in Denver on voting rights and the importance of preserving our democracy, a bipartisan conversation that if you'd asked me 10 years ago whether we'd have to talk about that in the United States, I would have said, are you kidding? No, we don't have to talk about that. But we do have to talk about it. We started that conversation in Denver about a year ago. Today, starting this week, Mayor Turner in Houston has reconvened the second part of this dialogue with mayors, bipartisan dialogue, Republican and Democratic mayors, to talk about the importance of voting rights, the importance of our democracy. And so that's the only reason the mayor is not here today, and you have to put up with me instead. But I wanted to make it as personal as possible because we really do care about this event. I have 3 missions. 1, to welcome in a more personal way than the video. 2, to brag a little bit on Denver and our team, which I'll do. And then I have something I want to mention to you at the end for your calendars next year, which I hope you'll be able to join us, but I'll save that for the end. So the official part, welcome to Denver. Welcome to Denver Startup Week number 5. Welcome to 2022 Global Landing Pad. And we talk about the Global Landing Pad and the team every time we go overseas. Stephanie Garnica usually does the work and the translating when we're in a country where English is not spoken easily. And we always brag on the fact that Denver has created an entrepreneurial landing pad to do business. It's very important to us because we're right in the center of the country, 3rd busiest airport in the world. I have to always ask myself, is that really the case? And it is, 3rd busiest airport in the world. So we're fortunate to have these resources. When I think back, and I suppose you do the same thing every now and then, think back to 2020 and 2021 and those days when we weren't sure if we were going to have to live with lockdowns and what was going to happen with the pandemic and how quickly we would recover. And in some ways, that is still in the back of my mind. It doesn't seem that long ago. But when I look around the room here and see where we're at after going through all of that together, I think we just should take a deep breath and give ourselves a little applause for getting through a global pandemic. So post-recovery, yeah, we're rocking and rolling, and economic recovery is right at the top of the list. Let me brag a little bit about Denver, some statistics that some of the folks in this room will know, but I think are cool. Denver's ranked number 10, top 10 for entrepreneurship, top 10 for tech cities with the right startup climate, number 1 for women-led startups. I think that's worth celebrating. We're number 1 for dog culture too. I'm not quite sure how to put an asterisk on that, and bike-friendly cities. So there's a lot going on in Denver, and I hope for those of you who haven't had a chance to fully explore what Denver has to offer, that you'll take time to do that. And I'll leave my cards. I have a little stack of them that I'll leave at the end of the table. Please pick it up. Let me know if you have a bad experience in Denver that we need to address, or you need a parking ticket fixed, or I'll send Paul Rosenthal to take care of that. Anyway, I'll leave my card so that if folks have an interest in connecting, I'll certainly make time to do that. So lastly, an announcement. I think a recognition of Denver's place on the global stage is that we will be hosting in April of 2023. Mark your calendars, April 26th, right, Stephanie? Yes. It's 26th. But that week, we might actually have more activity earlier in that week. But Denver will be hosting with the State Department the first ever hemispheric summit of the cities. So that means we'll have hundreds of mayors and local officials from the hemisphere, from Canada to South America, Central America, the Caribbean, here that week to have a conversation with one another about climate, sustainability, economic recovery, equity, a whole range of issues. We're working in partnership with the State Department, but also the Biennial of the Americas, and so we'll have activities that week that are cultural, celebration of Denver, and I think it will be at the tail end of the administration's, final 300 and some days, not that I'm counting, but a really big celebration for Denver and a meaningful opportunity to have a dialogue, not only on political matters, but on things that I think you will care about. Economic opportunity, certainly part of the discussion. So mark your calendar for that. Finally, I just want to say how pleased I am to have the opportunity to be here and to welcome this group. I'm going to hang around for a little while. And thank you again for being here in Denver. It's the closest thing I'm going to come to World Traveler for a while, I think, but we'll see if we can change that with Stephanie's help and when we come to the Summit of the Cities. So thank you all. Welcome to Denver. Do I need to introduce you? No, I can certainly. This Stephanie has traveled with us. We were in Bogota last week, 2 weeks ago? And so you don't ever want to travel with me. Do not travel with me because I am the bad penny. Bad luck. I picked the wrong line. My luggage is the last on the carousel. I will forget things like passports and vaccination cards. It just is a problem. So Stephanie is always kind of taking care of me, and so when I see her when we're traveling, I know I'm going to go smoothly, and not as smooth as this introduction, of course. But thank you, Stephanie, for taking care of me, and now Stephanie Garnica.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Alan. You are a pleasure to travel with, despite losing stuff sometimes and picking wrong lines. Good morning, everyone. It's really nice to see all of you. I'm Stephanie Garnica, and I lead our global business development efforts at the City of Denver's Economic Development and Opportunity, DEDO, that Chelsea explained earlier. We are a new team with the City of Denver, and it really was thanks to the global vision of our mayor, who understands, sees, appreciates, and knows how having a team focused on global efforts, both business development-wise, diplomacy, how that can really add value to a city. And as a city almost in the center of the United States, with the third busiest airport in the world, with this great culture, lifestyle, welcoming spirit, along with a really talented workforce, ease of setting up a business, lower costs than other major metropolitan areas, we recognize that by having a team that could really help be that point person, that resource to the international companies making their way here and exploring Denver, it added a lot of value. It also added value because even our own community might not be fully aware of what being a global city is. What does it mean? What does it look like? How can I plug into it if it's something that I'm interested in? And so we've been able to really rally with the help of many of the partners who are here today and who you'll get to meet throughout this program it also brought to mind that during Denver Startup Week, knowing that the startup phenomenon, the entrepreneurial community really is alive and well throughout the world, and as entrepreneurs would make their way here, or maybe they'd already been here in our community, that they might not really be aware of all of the resources available to help them grow their business, hire people, meet people from their home country. And so the idea to host a global visitors welcome during Denver Startup Week occurred to our team right as we were forming in 2018, and that was the first year that we hosted this event. And just even looking around the room now and seeing members of our Consular Corps, World Trade Center, some of our bilateral chambers of commerce that we have here, including the Rocky Mountain French American Chamber. I can count probably 15 countries in my head that are represented just by the audience here. And that's super cool. Yes, we do need a round of applause for that. But it does speak to what an international city looks like, why it's important and valuable. It does bring diverse thought into our community, into our way of living, our way of thinking, our way of doing business. It sure makes it a lot of fun, too, to hear different languages, different accents, different experiences being brought up and talked about. So we are really excited to be hosting our 5th Global Visitors Welcome. Excited for the opportunity to welcome all of you that are new here, that have maybe been here for a while, that maybe aren't as familiar or tied into the global ecosystem here in Denver, and just allow you ways and means of becoming part of that. And also really pleased to turn this over here in just a minute to our partner at the World Trade Center, but wanted to mention the value of having a global business ecosystem in place that, again, is super open, just like the rest of the city, super collaborative, wants to help see people succeed, whether it's providing meaningful introductions, inviting people to speak on events, to attend events, to be a guest. Hey, you're from New Zealand, there happens to be a group of New Zealand business people coming here tomorrow, come with me to this event. So just sharing information like that, helping get people plugged in, is really what helps make it successful here. And just a few members that I've briefly mentioned, but just want to pay even more attention to. Colorado does have a local consular corps, so we have over 35 countries represented. They're a fantastic part of the fabric of our global ecosystem. We have many bilateral chambers of commerce that are also very active in the community. We have a number of local industry associations that represent the industries that our community is strong in, a great business ecosystem, chambers of commerce, and with that, I'll turn it over to our World Trade Center of Denver, who was helpful with us in really creating the Global Landing Pad program that has been mentioned a couple times. And actually, before I turn it over to Karen, I will just call out that we have our newest cohort, our 6th one here in the front row, that's representative of 5 countries. We intentionally decided as we became a new team and we're receiving visitors from around the world pretty consistently, that it really could be a great idea to create a program that would welcome a cohort of business people at the same time to go through what it looks like to actually grow and land a company, establish operations, hire people, set up a bank account, go through the visa process, whatever it was that they needed. If a cohort could go through it together and just experience it, build relationships with each other, that could be a really powerful tool. So we are now on our 6th cohort. There are even people here in the audience from previous cohorts, which is super cool to see. And so they together get to form relationships, experience how do you go about setting up a business in Denver. And then for this cohort, the one that we do every year in September is intentionally tied to Denver Startup Week. So they can not only go through the content that we and our partners at the World Trade Center put together to educate them, but they can also experience the vibrancy and the culture and just the vibe of our city and our whole community. So it's a really cool time to be able to welcome them. And over the 6 cohorts that we've hosted, there have been 71 companies representing 13 countries, and 28 of them have gone on to land and grow their business in Denver. So it does have a high success rate, but again, it's just contributing to diversifying our whole community, which is a really positive thing. So thank you all for being here, and we'll introduce them later. But without further ado, I'm pleased to turn it over to Karen Gerwitz, the CEO and president of the World Trade Center Denver, one of our fabulous partners here in Denver.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's nice to see you all. Just really want to thank Dido for putting this event on and hosting it every year. I think we participated every year, and it's such a great opportunity to kick off this incredible startup week. I don't think you'll find one better in the world, so I'm really proud of what Denver has done. I also want to point out my colleague Sandy's in the audience. Sandy Moylan has helped out a lot with the cohorts, and so if you get a chance to talk to either one of us afterwards about the World Trade Center, we would welcome that. Let me just introduce the World Trade Center. You may have heard of us certainly in New York and some other cities, but we're in 320 cities around the world, in 100 countries, making us the largest trade association in the world. We in Denver are a private nonprofit trade association helping Colorado companies do international business. That's our mission, but really our raison d'etre, and I say that for the French speakers here, is that we want to make Denver a much more global city, much more globally connected, globally welcoming, and really connect Colorado companies worldwide. So we hope to work with all of you who are looking to scale your businesses globally, or maybe you're moving your business from another place to here. We welcome you in part of our ecosystem. And it is really important to talk about the importance of a global ecosystem, because this peer-to-peer learning and support is so important, because global business is super complicated if you haven't already figured that out. And we can't all know everything. And so that peer-to-peer support helps you with connections and with lessons learned and figuring out what mistakes to avoid and all of that. And so pretty much everything that we do at the World Trade Center is with that peer-to-peer learning in mind. We put on about 100 events a year as an organization. We also have trained over 40,000 people how to do global business. So really our whole mission for the past 35 years is to see this community thrive on the global stage. Other ways that we really support this ecosystem is supporting programs like the Global Landing Pad, and we also have a program of our own called the Global Trade Activator. It's an accelerator and an incubator. I'm really pleased to tell you a little bit about that. The accelerator helps Colorado companies scale globally in just a matter of a few months. We're working with you on a weekly basis, trying to show you the way and helping you build a plan and a strategy to enter a new market. And our incubator is now serving 105 immigrant entrepreneurs in starting their first ever global trade business. So this has been an amazing experience to help create new traders in Colorado and to even connect us further. So that program is going well. Matter of fact, we're featuring a couple of speakers of that program on Wednesday here in this room at 2:30. So I hope you'll join. It's called American Dream, Starting and Growing a Business as an Immigrant. So it should be an interesting one to listen to. Other ways that we help is we advocate for open trade and supportive global business environment. And we've also just kicked off the groundbreaking last week of a physical campus that will house our ecosystem. And that's going to be in Fox Park. And so if you haven't checked it out yet, just go to foxpark.com and you'll see our new ecosystem. It's going to be right at I-25 and I-70, and it's the old Denver Post printing press, and that will become the new World Trade Center, opening at the end of 2024. Last, I just wanted to say really that we are so pleased to be here, to be part of this community. We're a collaborative bunch. I think I've worked with many of the people you've already spoken to for 20, 30 years, and we know people who know people. So tap into our networks and our ecosystem. Will help you find the connections you need both locally and globally, and we look forward to supporting your success going forward. So thanks again. Let me hand it back over to Steph. And if you're interested in joining our membership or being part of our community, either Sandy or I would be welcome to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen. And now I am really pleased to introduce our 2022 Fall Global Landing Pad cohort. So fall for us, not fall from all of the companies represented here that are below the equator. But what I'll do is give each of them 2 minutes to introduce themselves, their company, what they've experienced in Denver, why they're interested in this city, how they'd like to be part of the community. So I'll do them in alphabetical order. So I'll just go through the list if you don't mind remembering, and that way we'll save time by me not having to come up in between everyone. But we'll start with Aaron from Dovetail. We'll then go to X's Digital Angels, then Grupo Rio, then InQuick, then Parkable, then South Hive. So pleased to introduce Erin Cook from Dovetail, a New Zealand-based company. She's based in Australia, but we're really happy to have her here as our sole female entrepreneur in the mix.
Thank you. Thanks, Stephanie. Lucky first. I'm the head of people at Dovetail. Dovetail is a Kiwi-founded business. We're a digital product agency. So we have roots in Auckland, Wellington, and Sydney. And really what we do is we kind of have three pillars of our business. The first is our digital product agency. So we built the Afterpay app. I don't know if you've heard of it, shoppers. I'm sure you have. So that kind of really pushed us to the next level. Ended up partnering with a variety of different blue chip businesses, fintechs, buy now, pay laters, crypto, and develop their apps and websites. So that's our agency side. We also have a venture studio, and very happy to be a part of the Global Studio Network that's based in Denver. But our venture studio invests in founders and really just startups pre-seed. We build the apps and the websites and build out their MVP and then take it to market. So kind of both sides of the coin. I'm super happy to be here. So thankful for Dito and OEdit who have really helped our journey here to Denver. We were considering several other cities. Denver just kind of felt like home. I'm originally from Chicago, have lived in Australia, hence the weird accent, and have been in Australia for 6 years. And then our Kiwi team, we really love the time zone. We love the work hard, play hard environment. We like escaping to the mountains, and really having that community and that startup ecosystem to top it all off. I think that was everything. But a huge shout out to Dito, the landing pad, and OEdit. They offered some amazing financial opportunity for us at Dovetail to move to Denver, and it was just an opportunity we couldn't pass up. So, so grateful to be here and hope to meet all of you over the week. Awesome.
Hello, everyone. This is Santiago Jimenez. I am representing Exis Digital Angels. We are a Colombian tech company. We are an expert company in training, attracting, and managing the human talent in technology world. Right now, we are working in all the countries in Latin America with consultants in all the countries, principal in Colombia. Right now, we are looking, making an open market here in Denver. Our company, as an expert in a technology world, we are looking to help companies here in US to making their IT challenge a reality. Right now, we saw a very huge opportunity in Denver. We have an amazing ecosystem. We not every notice this kind of ecosystem around the world. Right now, I am the Chief Innovation Officer of the company. So we are making different kind of services and applications around the tech talent. So the idea is make like a networking with all the companies that you have here, with all the ecosystem, and try to make like a very huge, powerful IT managing here. So that's it. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Antonio Diaz. I'm from Mexico. I'm the CEO of a family business. We are a healthcare company. We provide diagnostic services. We do imaging exams, X-rays, mammograms, MRIs, CTs, and so forth, laboratory tests. And we operate with a team of 170 employees. We have 7 business units and still a small company with 10 million in revenue. I applied to the global landing pad because we're exploring the possibility of coming to the state and hopefully contributing to provide healthcare services for the Latino community. As you know, it's a minority group, but it's kind of a large minority group. I think in 2021, there were around 37 or more million Mexicans living in the US. And there are a lot of challenges that they're facing in terms of healthcare. So for us, it was a great opportunity to learn the practicalities about coming to the States, setting up operations, and obviously to expose our strategy and our business plan to talk with accomplished professionals and entrepreneurs that look at our strategy, at our business, and provide us with a lot of insights to move our project forward. It was great surprise for me, to be honest, what I found in Denver. Didn't consider initially as a place to land, but certainly now is my top priority if we manage to make it work. So thank Dito and all the team for the support and all the welcoming that we have received so far. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Australian, and I don't know if you heard that accent any time before this, but interesting, my mum is actually from Iowa, so I sometimes pull out, this is an Iowan accent card. Yeah, we have a business, family business, that we have like a bridge construction technology for infrastructure. So we're not a SaaS company, or I know there's a lot of focus on tech around Denver, but we entered the market with this new patented system, and it really took off. And so we built nearly 200 bridges in the last sort of 2-3 years, and we have over 100 staff. And so we won a big innovation award in 2019, and sort of through the thick of COVID, we actually worked with one of the largest steel companies in the United States, and we ended up deciding, look, we'll take the leadership and enter into the market ourselves. And so the system we developed can save up to 50% of the cost of rebuilding a bridge. And so there's a $40 billion bridge replacement program that's been through the Biden administration. And so we were looking at a range of different states to operate in, from sort of northeast around Pennsylvania and so on, and even down to sort of Florida. But one of the big draw cards for us here, and we have set up our operation in Denver now, but it was the community that we had. It wasn't via the sort of global landing pad or anything. I actually participated in this just to make sure that I had covered off on all the things that I'd done. But one of the things that I just felt so thankful for was there is a sense of community in this space that I haven't seen anywhere else, even in Australia, within your own business communities. And even those people that don't play in the same space as I do, we can all help each other. And so the Oz Denver community has been absolutely brilliant to me. And so if anyone wants to come to the Koalarado event, it's on the same time as the New Zealand event, but it's going to be better. And so James is here at the moment. But no, thank you so much, and really look forward to the week ahead.
Thanks, Logan. I think I get the right of refusal as a New Zealander to promote the NZTE event on Tuesday, don't I? Hey guys, I'm Toby. I'm the CEO and founder of Parkable, as it says on the t-shirt. We help large businesses and medium businesses manage workplace parking with software and amazing humans. Super excited to be here. It feels like you guys are getting glamorous topic after glamorous topic. Bridge building to car parking, right? So the people are fun on this trip, and I think that's the highlight for us. When we think about Denver and think about Dito and the global landing pad, it's been a great experience for me. Like many in the group, we set up a list of criteria for where are we going to set up shop here in the US. We're a fast growth, we're a SaaS business, scaling hard into the US at the moment with some big customers, and so we had the luxury of choice. And so we listed all of these criteria like tax and talent and cost of living and availability of sort of space and suitability of market and all that kind of thing. And they're all very formal and very dry, but what we didn't have on our criteria was welcoming spirit. And I think we should have. You know, arriving here and doing the global landing pad, the guys have just been phenomenal in terms of this incredible set of open arms to show us the culture of Colorado, the culture of Denver, and so for that I'm really grateful. If I redo the criteria, that's going on there. But yeah, strongly encourage people to get involved with the global landing pad program. It's been educational. It's validated a lot, to Logan's point, about what we thought we knew about the region, and taught us something new. So yeah, with that, thank you, and on to next.
Thanks, Toby. Hey, everybody. My name is Nicolas Valenti. I'm from Cordoba, Argentina. I mean, South Hemisphere, but the opposite side of the world from these guys, right? I represent South Hive. We're a small startup company. We're doing business with the government in my home country. We plug into the government data, whatever source it is, and start providing insight on what these guys need for running their agencies as fast as possible, right? So anybody that is in office has limited time to actually execute their strategy. So what we do is help them define where to put their money in the shortest time possible. Initially, we started planning our expansion regionally. So we were looking at South America and Central America first, because we understand those markets a lot better. But our ultimate goal was coming to the US, right? So pretty much for us, we thought it would be sort of tough, being a foreign company, to come and do business with the government agencies. And what we learned with the global landing pad is that we can actually do it here in Denver, right? So we were not expecting that. I thought it would be kind of a learning experience for us, but ultimately we're leaving Denver knowing that we can come and do business here as a foreign company. So that was really exciting. And well, what else can I say that these guys have not said already? So it's been a thrill, right, to be here. We were not considering Denver. Probably as coming from Argentina, pretty much it's either Miami or probably San Francisco. But I mean, finding what you guys have here, it's where we feel we would belong, right? It's a sense of community that I have not seen anywhere else in the US. I've been doing business for 20 years in the US market, but I have never seen this kind of commitment from the city and the people to actually help others out and establish a business here. So thanks, Stephanie. Thanks, World Trade Center, because you guys have made this past week beautiful for us. All right? Thank you.
Thank you. Gosh, it's so fun to feature all of them and just see how quickly they become a part of what's happening here. So hopefully you all felt the love. I sure did. They're amazing. They're no fun at all. We've had a pretty miserable time together. Just kidding. They're amazing. Like, it's been fun. It doesn't even feel like work sometimes, but it's great to see our community continuing to diversify and grow. I'm pleased to introduce now a member of our Consular Corps, Sylvain Fabi. He is the Consul General for the Canadian Consulate here in Denver. Fabulous partner. Colorado and Canada have strong ties. He also represents other states in the Rocky Mountain West, but a true valued partner whom we work with closely and a great ally. So happy to turn it over to Mr. Fabi.
Mr. Thank you, Stephanie. Good morning, everybody. Before we start, Ken, I just want to say we haven't known each other for too long. Now I know we have something in common. I'm pretty sure if my wife were here, she'd say that I'm good competition for you for please don't travel with him. But she's not here, so we're okay. So I'm very happy and honored to be able to speak here this morning. My office is one of the things our offices do abroad, our consulates and our embassies, is we do many things, but one of the things we do is try to increase the trade, investment, and economic links between Canada and the place where we are. Now, we're a small office, so there's no way we could do this on our own. Impossible. So that's why we very much value the partnerships we have here, and one of those partnerships, of course, is with the city and county of Denver. So, you know, we work with them to attract Canadian companies to the Denver Startup Week. So Of course, Canada and Colorado, as you said, Stephanie, we share a strong spirit of innovation, entrepreneurship, and also a deep commitment to supporting startup companies, particularly those who are led by members of minorities and women. That's one of our priorities in Canada. So, and as in Denver, the entrepreneurial ecosystem is booming in major cities across Canada, thanks, of course, to government incentive, but even more thank you to a growing tech talent pool that we have and access to venture capital, which often comes from the United States also. Right. In Canada, we boast three world-class cities. Right, they're Toronto, which is known in Canada as the center of the world. Right. There's Montreal, where I'm kind of from, which is a very fun, dynamic, and French-speaking cities. So that's when we were talking about accent this morning. I've got my French accent. Y también tengo mi acento cubano cuando hablo español porque trabajé 4 años en Cuba. So we have 3 cities, and the third one is Vancouver, beautiful city on the West Coast. And I must say, I've worked in Vancouver. I've been there, so many times, and I find this similarity with Denver in terms of the spirit and the vibe, which I think is a compliment to both cities, right? Because it's a great place. So we have our and these 3 cities are ranked in the top 50 internationally for their robust entrepreneurial ecosystem, which of course also benefits greatly, as is the case in Denver, benefit from Canada's multicultural and inclusive society. And we also attract a lot of the brightest minds in the world. Why? Thanks in large part to 2 things, right? We have what we believe a first-rate educational system and educations with year in, year out rank very well in world rankings. But also thanks to our very welcoming immigration policies. And for example, we have a startup visa and a global talent stream program that allows foreign investors to bring highly educated workers to Canada. It's just one example. And again, like Denver, because I'm a little bit here to promote my country. We're a great location to expand our business. And we welcome inquiries from companies who, after succeeding here in Denver and having roots in Denver, if you want to explore your friendly neighbor to the north, perhaps as a gateway to launch your business in Europe and Asia. Not steal business from Denver, but use us from Denver. Yeah. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce you to a Canadian company that is part of the Denver Global Landing Pad program. Kivit Kachidza is founder and CEO of Seraphin AI, which is headquartered in Vancouver. Seraphin AI has developed a novel platform that uses AI to deliver corporate training experiences to business all around the world. In 2021, David Smith from my team, who's here, invited Kevin to apply for the Denver Global Landing Pad program. And as you know, this program offers participants access to senior leaders from Denver's business community, along with opportunities to pitch their solutions and to investors and venture capitalists. And DEDO selected Seraphin along with 2 other Canadian companies to participate in the Global Landing Pad this past summer. And it has been instrumental in helping to expand their businesses here in Denver. But I'll let Kevin speak to this. And thank you very much for allowing us to be here. I hope you have a great Denver week, and I hope you enjoy Denver as much as I've been enjoying it for the last 2 years. So thank you very much. And Kevin, over to you.
Hi. Well, I'm actually not sure that it's my turn, but as I've been given the microphone, I pretty much don't have a choice. My name's Kevin Kachidza, and happy Funny Accent Day. I also have one. I'm originally from Zimbabwe, so I am African, and I became a Canadian citizen on Friday, December the 13th, 2019. Just in time for the whole world to collapse and everything to start shutting down. So I only got one really good trip out of it with my new Canadian passport. It's such an honor to be here today. And Consul General, thank you so much for your kind words and for the support that I've received from the Trade Commissioner Service. I'm going to go ahead and respect the order of things today, but this is just a brief introduction to me. I will have more to say about myself and my company. But this is also my first time in Denver, so I am really looking forward to meeting folks and to getting to find out what the city is all about. So great to meet you all, and I'll be talking a little bit later as well.
Thank you, Kevin. You can stay up here if you'd like. I'd like to also invite Peter Arch to come up and join us. We're going to have a little brief panel discussion. Peter Arch is the founder of Peter Arch Consulting, providing knowledge, support, guidance, and other entrepreneurs and business owners who are looking to launch, build, scale, or diversify their brands. He also was the Vice President of People and General Manager for Gymshark, which you've probably heard of, British fitness apparel and accessories brand that opened its North American headquarters in Denver, thanks to Peter, about 3 years ago. So we're just going to have a little short panel discussion as part of this program, and I'm excited to meet you both. Thank you for joining us today. Maybe just open it up with why Denver? Why is this a market that you're interested in and exploring? What are some of the things that come to mind? And feel free to say a little bit more about your company as well.
Morning, everybody. Delighted to be here. Peter Arch from England. Obviously, it's a big day in our country today, and probably very appropriate that we have so many members of the Commonwealth represented here today. Why Denver? It won out of my research, my recommendations to the board. I did a deep dive into all the major metropolitan markets in the US. We needed one of those many tens of thousands of flights out of DIA to go to Heathrow. We needed it to go to Toronto because we had a warehouse in Mississauga. And we needed a flight to LA, and we needed a flight to Columbus. And when I cross-referenced all of those things, I could see Denver ticked the boxes. We needed an entrepreneurial city that encouraged business. We needed something that reflected the cool vibe that would reflect Gymshark at the time, which was riding high and a very popular fitness apparel brand. The list went on, and I ended up making 3 recommendations to the board in the UK, one of which was San Diego, one of which was Denver, and the other was Raleigh-Durham. I sent all the information over and did a presentation to them. And at the end of it, I had a lot of blank looks. And San Diego, that's in Los Angeles, yeah? Yeah, close enough. Denver, oh, but that's on a mountain because everybody skis there. Yeah, okay. And then Raleigh-Durham, where's North Carolina? We don't even know where that is on the map. I universally got approval for Denver to be the city, and I can't say how delighted I am for the last 3 years of being involved in a project of, number one, starting up a business with somebody else's money. That's always a lot of fun. I've been in your shoes. I started my own business 30 years ago and remember sitting very nervously pitching this business to a young lady called Billie Jean King. She'd just flown into Kansas City for a charity tennis match with Andre Agassi and Elton John, and I was given the opportunity to talk to her for 20 minutes to explain this business idea I had. 2 hours later, I came out of that meeting feeling I'd gone 5 sets with John McEnroe. She is so sharp, she is so clever, and she just probed and gave me all the questions I needed to think about when I started my business. Since then, I've grown several businesses. I'm exiting one right now. So my position at the moment as founder of Peter Arch Consulting is based upon many years of experience, the birth of the internet, the growth of e-commerce, the development of influencer marketing, responding to the tech ups and downs, creating a service business, a product business, and a tech business, And I'm now in a position where, thankfully, I'm able to pick and choose clients to work with, good people who've got good ideas and who also value what their position is in the world. I hope I get a chance to talk to many of you over the next few days. Enjoy your time here. It's been a pleasure getting to meet some of you so far. And I wish I spoke as eloquently as this gentleman from Canada.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You honor me greatly with your kind words, sir. Why Denver? In order to really kind of paint the picture, I need to take you back probably about 2 years in terms of how I got to where I am right now. Before the pandemic, in what I now lovingly refer to as the before times, in the before times, I was a financial crime investigator. So if you were up to some shenanigans on your bank accounts, whatever those shenanigans were related to, someone like me would investigate your accounts and perhaps make the relevant reports to the authorities. And my one goal when I was a banker was to climb the corporate ladder and eventually become vice president of something or other, within the bank. And in May of 2020, just when things just started to go crazy around the world, I was one of many Canadians who was let go. All of a sudden, I was given 30 days notice, and that was just the reality. There were so many job losses going on at the time. And I don't think that, well, actually, let me put it this way. For each of us here, sometimes we don't really realize the value that we attach to what we do, our work, the dignity that it gives us, the sense of purpose, the sense of I'm doing something good for my life, for my family, and also, I'm earning money. I need money to survive. And at the time, I was also a national diversity and inclusion spokesperson for probably the 6th largest bank in Canada. And there I was without a job. I'd been in anti-terror financing circles, anti-money laundering, and no one was hiring. And so I did what a lot of people would do, and what you should do is you should spend at least a month or two feeling sorry for yourself. So that's what I did. And once you felt sorry for yourself for long enough, you've got to get onto the Netflix binges and those sorts of things, which I did. And then I discovered YouTube. And I promise that there is an actual point behind this story. I discovered YouTube. And at that point, I had two choices. I could either learn how to make sourdough bread, or I could start to watch instructional videos about artificial intelligence, about e-learning platforms, about building a startup. And I still don't know how to make sourdough bread, but I did go along the startup route. There is a great deal of information that's available on the internet in terms of how to start a business, how to make it successful. However, I did myself a great favor right from the beginning on the 14th of February 2021 when I finally incorporated my company. I told myself that I know absolutely nothing about startups. Yes, I've worked in banking, I know about finance, I know how to catch criminals doing weird things, but I know absolutely nothing about reaching a $1.8 million valuation and annual recurring revenue. These are things which are foreign to me. And so I joined the Founder Institute, which is probably the world's largest startup accelerator. I committed to doing absolutely everything that my mentors told me to do at the Founder Institute. And I graduated #1 in that program, which then caught the interest of investors, angel investors. And we were able to raise initially $150,000 US, and then we raised a bit more, then we got some government grants. Thank you, Government of Canada. I'm very appreciative for the hiring grants that we were given. And but then 6 months after raising capital, I knew that I needed to be in the United States market. The US is the largest market for learning management systems in the world. And so if you're serious about your e-learning business, you must have a presence in the United States. And so the question was where? I'll cut a long story short, but I have a very long history with the United States. I was an intern in Silicon Valley when I was 21 years old. I was an intern in Washington, D.C. At some stage. I made use of the J1 Exchange Visitor Program visa that I believe is still on offer. So I have traveled to many states around the United States, including, for some reason, I took a bus from New York to California when I was 22. Never do that. It's not. The kicks on Route 66 are few and far between, I assure you, if you're traveling Greyhound. Sorry, Greyhound, if anybody's from there. But I realized that I needed help in terms of getting into the US market. And I got an email from Trade Commissioner David Smith, who I'll always be grateful for his assistance, his support, and that's where it all began. I was in California at the time. You know, it's kind of, choosing a city is kind of like dating. You know, you've got to go on a few dates first before you decide to commit. And this was my second time in California, and I was really thinking that, you know, it was going to be San Francisco. But because of the relationships that came out of the program, because of the way that my interactions with Dido went, because of the feeling of acceptance that I already have in the city, Denver was my choice. It is very important to me as an immigrant entrepreneur, as a minority entrepreneur, as a black entrepreneur, to go where I'll be treated best. And in my view, certainly from what I've experienced so far, that's Denver, Colorado. So that's my reason.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for those opening remarks. Let me just ask you, you know, being an entrepreneur is difficult. We all know that is true. But being an international entrepreneur is on a whole new scale. So what do you think, what attributes do you think contribute to your success? What sort of attitude, behaviors, personality traits do you think are going to be most helpful to those that are taking on new markets?
Bless you. I think the global landing pad cohort will exemplify everything that is probably needed. You've got strong personalities. You've got people with a very clear vision of what their company is and what they can do. And I think they have this appetite and excitement about going into work every day. It's something that we felt when I was at Gymshark, myself and the CEO, we had this very cheesy expression that we wanted Monday to feel like Christmas morning. Everybody's coming into work and they just can't wait to see what's there under the tree. Every day was a little bit different. It was a very dynamic, fast-pacing time for our business. We were doing about 700 million in revenue, and it was something that we just believed every day could get a little bit better. The one thing that we had to firmly commit to was how we treated our staff. We viewed staff as our number one resource, and if we always felt that if we got it right for the staff and we got it right for the customers, then everything else would fall into place. It is something that has been a firm commitment in all the different brands that I've started, and the roles that I've had have always been very people-centric. And I can't say how much that is important in the development of small businesses as you grow, that you really value not just what people do for you today, but you think about how they can stretch, what they can do tomorrow, how can their role expand beyond their level that they even know now. So having that element of it can be done, we don't know what it is yet, but we're going to keep on looking and we're going to keep on stretching, I think is one of the things that's driven me.
Yeah, absolutely. That sense of resilience is key when it comes to international business. My background, however, sometimes I tell people this, but sometimes I don't, but it may help to explain a lot. Although I'm originally from Zimbabwe, I did not leave my home country voluntarily. If you meet people from Zimbabwe, there's a high likelihood they're either an economic migrant or a refugee or both. And so, yes, my background is I came to Canada as a refugee, as an asylum seeker. And you know, like many immigrants, when you come to a new country, you start from the bottom. It really doesn't matter what you were doing in your home country, and that's the sad reality even of Canada. In Canada, we need to deal with this issue of Canadian experience being, you know, valued above all other experience. It's a form of discrimination, in my view, in my opinion. But by needing to start all the way from the beginning, like really at a call center. I was the guy, if you had a Capital One credit card and something went wrong and you called up, hi, my name is Kevin from Capital One, how may I help you today? And if you spoke Spanish, hola, mi nombre es Kevin, estoy llamando del Departamento de Protección contra el Fraude. You know, that was me. And, but I learned very quickly that I would have to adapt and be resilient if I was going to get through this. because it's tough enough being a refugee, it's tough enough being separated from your family, but just having absolutely no one in the city who knows you, who trusts you, who even is in a position to give you a job, it builds a certain sense of, I have to get this done. I must succeed. There is no other choice. I have to get it done. I can't rely on the government. I can't rely on handouts. I will not rely on handouts. It's just not me. And so for years, I just climbed my way up the ladder, from an English-speaking credit card fraud analyst to Spanish-speaking, high school Spanish-speaking credit card fraud analyst, to a French-speaking credit card fraud analyst, because I had to use everything that I had, every advantage that I had in order to just make it. And so, people often say that, immigrants often make very good entrepreneurs, and it's probably because of that sense of, if I don't do this, well, maybe I might find something else to do in future, but really sometimes that's the end of the road. If you do not succeed, that's the end, and no one's gonna help you. And fortunately, now things have completely changed. I have these great relationships with cities around the world. The folks at DSW have just been amazing. I also have relationships with the city of Barcelona. They're also looking at how we can bring the Spanish version of our product there. But resilience is key, and never giving up. That certainly would be my advice.
So great. So inspiring, isn't it? So we're actually running out of time, so let me just ask one last question to both of you. We have some people considering Denver for moving their business. What's your elevator pitch on why they should follow you and move their companies to Denver? Will you start?
The list is too long to do a short elevator ride on, but we looked at education being key. There are 33 universities within a 50-mile drive of here with 200,000 students who would absolutely fuel the internship pipeline, the job pipeline, and then allow us to go back and do integrated work in curriculum. There is a very rich, diverse economy in Denver. It is no longer oil and gas and financial services. There's very rich biosciences, aerospace, cannabis industry, hospitality industry. The list goes on. It makes it a very safe business place to work. The regulatory and taxes side of the city are very manageable compared to other cities, and I've lived in cities before that have two states where they border, and you are continually having to fight regulation and look at different tax codes. So if you go to the more aesthetic side of things, without a doubt, this city is a great place to attract and retain talent. All you have to do is look at the number of major corporations who've moved here recently, and our friends Google in Boulder, and Facebook and Slack and Home Advisors and everybody else. They have all found the same thing. They will be very happy to put an office here. They'll be very happy to attract staff from out of state. They can also cherry pick staff from other companies who already moved here. So I think the diverse business economy, education, the accessibility from the airport, the 1,000 free bus trips that there are around the city, the light rail to the airport. I could go on, but no.
We reached our floor.
Thank you.
Now it's Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to use the minute I have to talk to younger entrepreneurs in particular, especially immigrants and especially folks who are perhaps underrepresented when it comes to entrepreneurship. In Denver, it's possible. In Denver, it's possible, and I know that because I've experienced it firsthand. I went through the Denver Global Landing Pad program, graduated, and immediately had this credibility when it came to US clients that I didn't have before. It's one thing to introduce yourself as, hi, my name is Kevin Kachidze, and we've built a better way to train hundreds of employees using artificial intelligence. But when you add that I'm a graduate of the City of Denver's Global Landing Pad program, that's immediate credibility. When you add that I'm supported by the Trade Commissioner Service of Canada, that's immediate credibility. And when you mention Stephanie Garnica's name, they're like, oh, well, in that case, you've got to be a good person. It's all about the relationships, folks. And I still have the same kind of challenges that minority entrepreneurs will have. And I don't make any excuses for them. I just power through them until I get to the place I want to be. But in Denver, if you can form relationships with the people that I formed relationships with, that will greatly help your entry into the US market. I have nothing but good things to say about the DDO program. And I landed 2 US clients in the months after graduating from the program. So thank you. Thank you to everyone at DDO. I really appreciate it.
Keep that round of applause going for our 2 panelists here. They're fantastic. Well, I look forward to integrating your AI system into ours and for integrating you into our consulting practice. So thank you both very much for joining me today, and we welcome you to be part of our community at the World Trade Center. So again, thank you all for participating. I'd like to turn over to Sarah Rona from the Silicon Valley Bank.
Thank you so much. Just a quick question on the slides. Do I just press it down? Just scroll? Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to Vanessa and her team at DDO. They've been an absolute pleasure to work with, and I'm just so pumped to see all of the global entrepreneurs expanding over to Denver. Also really happy to see some of our clients here. We've got people from Parkable, from Dovetail, so very happy about that. So as an intro, my name is Sarah Rona, as everyone said. I work for Silicon Valley Bank. I'm the market lead for Australia and New Zealand. And for those of you that don't know SVB, we're a full-fledged commercial bank. We have a pretty large market share here in the US. We bank over 50% of all VC-backed companies and 2/3 of the VCs that finance those companies, because we also have a funds business. In the US, actually that is our market share. So here's some. The scrolling is not working. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Forget I'm here.
Awesome. So here are some financials, just for everyone's background. So like I said, we're a full commercial bank. We've got offices globally and are expanding, but the recession is taking. We're being impacted, so we're slowing down our international expansion, but we've got offices in the UK, Germany, Israel, joint venture in China, Denmark. We are slowly expanding to Sweden, which I just found out a couple weeks ago, which has not been publicized yet, so keep that for yourselves. Here you go. Thank you. So I work for a team called Global Gateway. Like I said, I head up Australia and New Zealand. We basically bank with founders from 4 core markets where we don't have a physical presence in. So Australia, New Zealand, Latin America, India, Middle East, North Africa, and right now it's just Jordan, Turkey, UAE, and Egypt. And so we work with founders that have a banking need. Sorry, I feel like this keeps going in and out. We work with founders that have a banking need because they're either expanding over to the US or they are raising from US-based investors and need help with banking services. So we help them get set up, and they don't need to be physically in the US to do that, so it actually makes it really helpful for them. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Oh, and just a little, yeah. So as a background for Australia and New Zealand, so we love being a partner for our founders on the ground. These are kind of, this is the funding landscape, completely killing it in the first half of 2022. For Australia, I think we're on track to even beat last year's goal of 10 billion in VC funding. These are some of our clients that we work with, but we work with clients from all stages, from early stage to corporate banking, so unicorn clients. These are some of the VC firms that we work with, banking their portfolio companies. And then these are some of the most active sectors that we're seeing. A lot of construction tech as well that we were seeing lately, and some healthcare stuff. Yeah, that's about it. We do pitch deck reviews. We're a little bit more than just a banking partner. We'll plug our founders into the local ecosystem. We'll do go-to-market strategy. So basically anything and everything that they need as they're really trying to scale here in the US. We like to be that partner with them on the ground. So if you have any questions related to banking, feel free to grab me. I will be bopping around for the next 2 days, so just send me a LinkedIn message or grab me as, I'm here, but happy to chat and be a resource for you if you guys need anything. Thank you.
Well, that concludes our global visitors welcome. Just two things that came to mind that I wanted to mention but overlooked, so I'm going to just say them now since there are some people still here. But number one is what a valuable partner academia is. And Peter Arch mentioned that the universities, the higher educational system, national federally funded laboratories, they're all part of the fabric too of our ecosystem, what helps make things work here. So I didn't want to overlook them. And even our foreign government partners that aren't part of the consular corps, they're amazing, but there are others that don't have an office here but support Colorado from other cities in the US. They're phenomenal resources too. And I know we have people here from the New Zealand Trade and Enterprise Group, from the French Embassy in Washington, DC. So again, just a lot of collaboration going on. I think you've heard it. It's been very apparent through this, this discussion today. But that concludes our session. We're grateful for all of our global visitors that are here, making our community more diverse, more innovative, more energetic, just bringing new perspectives to the mix. And please, there are breakfast burritos in the back, and there's this great innovation lounge just down the hall where we have many of our international resource groups that are exhibiting there. They're there to answer questions. Even some of our former global landing pad companies have tables there. So please go check them out. Stick around as long as you can and enjoy Denver Startup Week. Thanks for coming today.